Wrestling buddies want to be your buddy.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. Buddy!
You got me mad now.
Following a week that has so much greatness jam-packed in, you all need a show that reins it all in for you.
Drink it in, man.
And we're going to do that right here because this show is the Wrestling Compadres Slamcast right here on AfterBuzz TV on Podcast One. If you're watching, hey, how you doing? If you're listening, we appreciate you, whether it's on Podcast One or Podcast Addict or iTunes. Welcome to the show. I mean, it's jam. We have so much stuff to do. I don't even know if we're going to get to all of it, but we're going to do our best.
We got work to do.
Thank you, New Day. Yes, we do. Speaking of New Day, they're going to be on the show. Our interview we did with them, if you want to call it an interview, it's basically just us goofing off with them for a little while. It's going to be on the show a little bit later on. We also have the honor of talking to Sergeant Chris Melendez from Impact Wrestling. Cannot wait to call him in just a little bit. But first things first, let's get to the intros. We're at WrestlingBuds on Twitter. We're Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. I am at Jay Quasto, the man right there. I was going to call out to your shirt. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Explain your shirt.
Because you don't know what it is?
I can't figure it out.
It's a Molaram t-shirt.
Okay.
Molaram Sudaram.
All right. I dig
Kali
that.
Ma, Shakti Day.
Okay.
Indiana Jones Temple of
Oh,
Doom.
damn it. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a sort of outline, like you don't get full detail of everything, but it's, one of those sort of minimalist...
Well, you know what's crazy? The top of his head looks a little bit like Andre the Giant.
What?
Like a little
What
miniature
way?
version of Andre the Giant, kind of. Without hands.
With a headpiece?
Yeah.
Because Andre the Giant would wear a headpiece with a shrunken skull on it?
The way his hair was in Labyrinth.
No,
Not
look,
Labyrinth.
the head right
Princess
there.
Bride.
That's an arm. That's an arm.
Oh,
See?
I will try and take a photo of this extremely close up so that way Twitter followers will know what we're talking
It's a little
about.
Princess Bride.
I thought you were looking at that.
Hold on,
Okay,
hold on.
very, very good eye
Thank you.
to find that in there. Man, there's the man who finds Waldo.
He is the host of Curtain Jerks, and of course, also heavily involved in the On Your Mark Show. Find it on YouTube.com/OnYourMarkShow. Find him on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. He's Scott Narver.
Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver. Curtain jerking Padres, always there to save the day. Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you to R-Truth and K-Quick, the short-lived tag team.
What? Come
Yeah,
on.
before they wrote Getting Rowdy,
They're not hip.
they
They're
wrote
hip-hop.
Getting Narver.
What?
Yeah.
And they did it acoustically?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am just
Yeah, that was
away.
R-Truth on the guitar.
blown away by their talent.
Yeah.
And their
I
twang.
was too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're getting rowdy and wearing those boff shirts.
The fact that they offered to make you the song with the boff on.
Yeah, well, they wanted the podcast to hit way back then, and I'm like, I don't know what a podcast is.
Right. They're
So,
ahead of their time.
way ahead of their time.
Way ahead
That's
of
why
their
they
time.
never took off. They were way ahead of their time.
Yeah, but that's okay though. At least you got the music out of it. Mm-hmm. Well, thank God for that. Speaking of which, back in studio, you can find him on Twitter at CRice17. He's the pride of Houston, Texas, and the pride of TCU. He is Chuck Rice.
He's a man.
What up, though?
Oh, another day in paradise. Johnny, how are you doing today, buddy?
We're living, man. We're we got Kraken here. We got so much to talk about. We got a guy on the phone right now, which we're gonna get right to.
Release the Kraken.
Well, but before you mentioned Houston, and I want to give a little shout out to Booker down there in Houston for a minute, and ROW for something pretty cool they're going to be doing coming up.
I was gonna cover that in the news, but you can go
Oh,
right ahead.
my bad. Never mind. Then get to it in the news.
All right. Well, first I'm going to get to the man from Washington, D.C. You can find him on Twitter at The Walking Dale. He is the host of Edition on Movies. He's always vest for business. You know he Dale Rutledge.
I got a puppy. I got a puppy? Bad news.
Delio.
What's going on, fellas?
How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. It's we had like 7 days straight of rain here in Washington D.C. and it's sunny today.
Okay.
So and it's sunny today though, so I'm feeling good about it.
It's not just good weather. It's not just bad weather. It's the weather.
It's the weather.
the
It
weather.
rains.
Listen, Dale.
Rain is what you Californians wouldn't know, but rain is what we call the thing that we drink so we don't have droughts.
Yeah.
Drink it in, man.
Dale's day started off great, bright and sunny today. You know why, Johnny?
Well, I have no idea.
He got to talk to me this morning.
Whoa, man! Is there any better way to wake up for you, Dale?
Yeah, and the day actually went pretty well anyways.
All right, we have so much. This is one of those weeks where there is so much great stuff in the world of pro wrestling. I don't even know if we're going to get all. I don't know if we're going to get to everything. We're going to do our best. But with that said, first things first. All right, Slamcast news time. As everybody knows, there were a number of releases from WWE this past week. Wow. Damian Sandow, Alex Riley, Santino Marella, Wade Barrett, Cameron, Hornswoggle, El Torito, and Zeb Coulter. So, unfortunately, post-WrestleMania, that's what happens sometimes.
It's a new era.
Yeah, I guess
we're in a new era.
I mean, some of them we kind of knew was coming. Wade Barrett, he made it pretty clear he was gonna leave after his contract.
Does that even count as a release if they agreed to like come to a mutual like?
No. Well, in that just like it's he's gone. It's released. It's not one of the like what everyone refers to as like the future endeavored, but just amongst all the other people leaving.
And Hornswoggle had an amazing run. Santino, everyone knew he was kind of he was Battle Arts Academy is his #1 priority right now up in Canada, and injuries really took its toll on him as well. So I don't think that was a huge shock.
Like the one with Santino, like love Santino, he's a good guy. But it just, like, for him and them, it just probably didn't make sense to keep him on a roster when he couldn't do anything.
I didn't know he still was, to be honest with you.
I thought eventually, like, it was going to be maybe a general manager type thing or something like that. But
that'd be great.
You have a great guy who's one of the funniest guys they've ever had on the roster, and they weren't utilizing that in any way. No segments. They have a network of shows, and they weren't doing anything there. So it's like, for right now, don't pay him, but please get him back in some creative capacity.
I'm sure he will.
Dale, Dale, we wouldn't rule out a return to TV for him.
The biggest surprise for all this, because most of these guys and gals weren't being used on television, certainly not on Raw, but mainly not on TV at all. But Alex Riley was, we saw a promo from him just on the last NXT, so I have to feel like maybe the rest of them knew that something like this was looming, but I think that had to come out of nowhere for Alex Riley.
Yeah, he's taking on Nakamura on this week's episode of NXT. Kind of like they released Bull Dempsey, and he was on TV every single week for a couple weeks after that. So hopefully, I
think the one that shocked me the most was actually Sandow. I know they hadn't used him in a while, but just with his immense popularity, you would have figured that they would have just, if nothing else, kept him there so he wouldn't go somewhere else.
Yeah, because people will follow that guy.
Sure. It might be one of those moments where maybe he wanted some time off to do his own thing for a while. You never know. Could be. It's possible.
And Zeb, that's the guy who's worked everywhere all the time. Yeah. And whoever gets him, they're lucky.
Who knows? Zeb might also be at the point where he just wants, kind of like Teddy Long, where he just wants to enjoy his free time.
And just wear an oversized suit?
Yeah, why not?
And I have a feeling somehow you'll see Zeb Coulter end up back with Jeff Jarrett in some capacity.
There you go. They have a long history as well. But yeah, A-Rai, he's a good friend of the show.
The new Global Force champion, Zeb Coulter.
But yeah, A-Rai, it's a bummer. He left the announce booth to get back into the ring and had a couple, an injury hold him back a little bit. And either way, though, he's going to land on his feet, and he'll keep himself very, very busy. And he knows he's always welcome on the show anytime he wants. So,
Dale, is this the end? Are there any more releases to come, you think?
I know there was a ref, and then I heard a rumor. I don't know that I saw this officially, but did Lillian Garcia get included in this?
Whoa.
So I had heard that, but I don't know.
Not totally
I didn't see it.
confirmed.
I didn't see it officially, but that was something that was floating out there that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Who to check with.
But moving on to brighter news, the WWE Global Cruiserweight Tournament is not underway yet, but there's 2 more qualifiers.
Yeah, we got Sandow, Riley, Santino, Wade Barrett.
No,
what?
No.
Am I reading from the wrong list?
Yeah, you're reading from go right above it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. We do have Drew Gulak, who you can see him on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood every single week, and also TJ Perkins, who many people know as Manic from his TNA days, joining the likes of Sabre Jr., Gargano, Ciampa, Rich Swann, a whole bunch of other people. There's going to be a 32 competitor cruiserweight tournament later on this summer. That's going to be pretty cool.
How about that butt on TJ Perkins, huh, Dale?
That is a you and me comment, not.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but
I
I'm just
don't
gonna.
want to know what that means.
My butt would explode.
But it opened for that soundbite. That's all that matters. Here's something cool. Andre the Giant. There's a film in the works, possibly.
What?
Yeah, Lions Forge Comics are in talks with WWE about doing a film about the life of Andre the Giant, which that'd be a hell of a story.
Is he going to fight the Hulk
think
in
they're-
Civil War II?
Maybe.
I don't think they're in talks with
Actually-
WWE. I think it's that Andre's daughter had a comic that she put out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's based off of the comic, not necessarily the WWE life.
Yeah,
Got it.
and I don't think WWE's involved with it. I think it's with some. I don't remember the production company's name, but they're the big question on everyone's mind right now is who would you get to play Andre? So
There's no one on Earth.
Hornswoggle was in Leprechaun Origins. He's an actor who's very versatile, and I think Hornswoggle is your next Andre the Giant.
or someone who's really good at CGI is going to be hired.
Yeah,
Maybe Hornswoggle is good at CGI. Either way, I think he's your guy.
I think that's a good option. Very much so.
You
Dale,
don't
do
need
you?
CGI. You just need one of those giant trench coats so he can stand on the shoulders of two other guys.
Yeah, those are always the classic way to go. You know?
Johnny, I think the role is yours, right for the taking.
Yeah, I'll put him on my shoulders. Sure, I'll be a body. You know.
Yeah, I think you are a body.
Well, thanks.
Dale, how about that butt on Laquasto, huh?
Oh boy.
Narver, that is a comment between you and myself.
My butt would explode.
All right, and lastly, as it was aforementioned by Chuck, Booker T and Reality of Wrestling are going to be filming a 360-degree virtual reality wrestling match with a Crixio camera that should be available June 1st, but I think they're doing it like this weekend.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna film this week, and it sounds really cool. Like, I don't know how much y'all have seen of that new, like, the
360 cameras, yeah.
like, and stuff.
Yep.
I can't say too much about either one of what's happening, but I know when I was working on the Westworld show, they did some stuff with some 360 cameras, and just to see like how they work and the footage.
Oh, it's crazy.
I remember watching it and saying to you guys, man, these would be great for like boxing or professional wrestling or something, and like there you go, it's happening, and it's gonna be cool.
I got to see Whistle Sports recently did a 360 yoga video with these YouTubers, two massive muscular, I think they're called two buff dudes, I think is their name actually on YouTube. Really cool guys, but they did
Be
a
careful
360.
what you Google search, everybody.
Yeah, good point. Yep, there you go. But yeah, they did
Are those the British guys?
No, I met them both. They're both definitely American, I think. But
Carry on.
unless they were doing an accent.
One comment, but now I don't know who they are.
We know what Johnny's looking at on the internet. He's looking at his old roommate, two buff
Well, yeah,
guys.
wait, the old roommate thing is totally.
That was a comment between all of us
that was a
privately.
What is
comment
going
between
on
you
on
and me,
the
Johnny.
damn show today?
It's
My
raining
point
here too,
is,
Dale.
They did a 360 yoga video. It's pretty damn cool, and I'm sure this is going to be awesome. So congrats to Reality of Wrestling.
Very cool.
And with that said, that is a strange edition of your Slamcast news.
Oh man, how about them butts on them mouse band, huh, Dale?
Dale, were you humming through?
Woo, wait, now that's the butts I could get behind. You know what I'm saying?
Dale, were you humming there? Through the song?
Oh, you can hear that? Yeah, what?
Yeah, actually, we can. We have. Okay. Well, anyways, really exciting. So we have two awesome interviews. We already had the New Day one coming up a little bit, but Sergeant Chris Melendez is just an amazing human being. I wanted to have him on the show since last year after the Ringside Salute tour.
He's one of the most fascinating people in the wrestling business I've ever met,
He really is.
bar none. And he'll elaborate on his story, but to go through what he went through and to accomplish what he has accomplished, god damn, man, what an
warrior.
inspirational person Chris Melendez is.
There's no doubt about that, and we're going to try to get him on the line. But yeah, you probably already, if you listen to this show, you already know him. One of the stars on the Impact Wrestling roster. Had a feud with Eric Young. I don't know. I lost count of how many times he got pile drived
Yeah.
by Eric Young. I think we got him.
Do we have Chris?
I think we do.
This is Chris.
All right, well, hey, I'm going to give you an intro first. So pretend that you're not on yet, and then you can jump right on. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a second-generation U.S. Army veteran, a war hero, one of the stars of the Impact Wrestling roster. Last August, he was part of the Ringside Salute Tour for our troops overseas, and it's an honor to say we're going to do it all over again this summer. He is Sergeant Chris Melendez. My friend, it's been too long.
Way too long. This has been a long time coming, and finally it's here.
Man, I've been asking your ass for like the last 9 months. We finally got you.
Hey, you and me both have been asking him, Johnny.
Man.
And I don't know you, so I have not said anything.
9 months, 11 months, somewhere through there. Close to a year. So, could have had another kid by that time. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, how's everything going, man? How's life?
Life is good. Life is pretty good. I'm home right now, playing daddy, catching up on Game of Thrones, stuff like that. Staying in shape, staying ready for everything. You know what I mean?
Not easy to multitask being a dad and watching Game of Thrones, I would imagine.
Exactly. I mean, I have to change a diaper right when the finish of the show is coming. It kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Nice. Well, let's get right into some stuff here. As far as Impact Wrestling goes, we haven't seen you too often on TV recently, but do we have any cool stuff we could look forward to coming up?
Yeah, there may be a few things coming up pretty soon with me on Impact. I've done several explosion matches, and as you know, I've had quite a few explosions in my life. You know, earlier on, like I need more. But yeah, definitely a few things coming up. But I am always there, and I'm always in the back absorbing knowledge of the guys that came before me. So it's always a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, since the move to Pop TV, I mean, the episodes have been really fun. They've been full of just really good storylines, and there's a lot of great stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, the show is amazing. The roster is outstanding. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about the guys in the roster. I mean, both professionally and personally. I mean, we all get along, and the camaraderie is great. I think that's something that I look and search for since getting out of the military, is that sense of brotherhood and belonging to something larger than yourself, that type of thing.
Especially when you got Shane Helms running around. It's kind of hard not to have fun.
Exactly. I mean, Shane Helms is like, him, Ken Anderson, Bubba, Devon, they're like big brothers to me, with as far as guidance and what I should do or what I shouldn't do, where I need to go, things like that. So I've gotten very close to Shane. And Shane was on our last tour. We went actually overseas to the Middle East.
Yeah, buddy.
And that's when me and him got pretty close there. And Shane put me on the Johnny Cash, so I'm now a big Johnny Cash fan.
Really?
Hey, there you go.
Good deal.
Chris, do you still talk to Bubba and Devon a lot?
Yeah, I talk to Bubba and Devon all the time. I talk to Bubba today. I talk to him almost every day.
How cool is it to see them? I mean, obviously they're not with Impact anymore, but man, they've had a hell of a resurgence, and they've done a great job working with younger talent. And I think it just speaks to what they did with you. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I can only imagine where you'd be.
Exactly. I mean, they are largely responsible for my success and getting started in the business. Bubba, Devon, Ken Anderson, as well as the Wounded Warrior Project, that I give a shout out to. I mean, it all started through them. A guy named Tony Natellis, who ran a small independent promotions in the Northeast, and I expressed to him I want to get involved in wrestling, so he put me in touch with a guy named Damian Slugger, who runs the Doghouse in Brooklyn, New York, which is the school where Low Key and Homicide trained at back in the day, and Homicide dropped in a few times to show me a few things, and contacted Ken, and he says, I can't train you because I don't have a ring, but I know a couple guys that do. And I met up with Bubba and Devon at Base Brawl, and it was a TNA show in Brooklyn, and Bubba spoke with me, and he saw how serious I was, and he said, hey man, look, I appreciate what you did for the country, and you seem like you got your head on your shoulders. If you could relocate, I will train you for free. So I had a good job, union job, working in the film industry, and I said, you know what, I'm going to follow my passion. Dropped everything like, as Gorilla Monsoon said, I tossed everything like yesterday's news, and I was on the next thing smoking down to Florida.
You punched that union job right in the breadbasket.
I'm right, I did.
Will you stop?
So you head down to Florida. What was the training like when it came with Bubba and Devon? How long were you down there before you got the attention from Impact? Because obviously being in Florida probably helps because they're centered in Orlando for the most part.
Exactly. And I was there for about 2 years of hell.
Wow.
I went through basic training all over again. It was
Jesus.
One of the conditioning coaches there, Apache Dan Carr, who's actually the originator of the creator of the American Gladiators. So he who I actually lived with at the time. and he made sure that I stayed in shape as far as everything. Living with your trainer is kind of a pain in the ass. You get at the house. That better not be white bread you're eating there.
Oh my God!
Don't do that. So he was all over me.
How comparable was
fun times.
How comparable was the training to get into wrestling with the military training that you had to go through?
I mean, they're both completely different. I think the military helped me a lot and prepared me for professional wrestling training because I knew what limits my body can go to, and I saw a lot of people who were not necessarily athletes or had no idea what they were getting into or didn't really take the business seriously and got in there and said, oh, wow, this kind of hurts when I hit the ropes. My back is bruising, or when I take a bump, this doesn't feel like a trampoline, and I don't think I can take this anymore. So I already knew what I could put my body through, and it's just that never quit attitude. And I hate to sound like cheesy and say it over again, but it really is those Army values that were instilled in me, and also what my father instilled in me as a child, him being a veteran as well. So I never quit at anything. I never lost in anything in my life, and you'll have to kill me to stop once I set my mind on something.
And that entire time, you had to realize, with each passing day, you were getting better, you were getting stronger, your balance was getting, a lot better when it came to bouncing around the ring. You knew eventually something was going to come out of it. Like, if you fully chase your dream, you can never go wrong, really.
Exactly. If you're willing to expend the energy and effort it takes to attain it, nothing can stop you.
And that brings us to August 5th, 2014. You made your Impact debut in New York City, which, for you, could there be any better place? Do you remember...
No.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go on.
I just want to ask, do you remember what that feeling was like, or was the entire night just a haze of emotions? Because you're there with the Dudley Boys and Anderson and Angle. I mean, just tell us about that.
Yeah, a lot of it was a haze of emotion. It was an amazing experience. I mean, I had my girlfriend at the time, who was now my wife, was there ringside with my father, which was great for me. That meant a lot to me, actually. Just to run back for a second, is my father actually couldn't make it to my basic training graduation in Fort Benning, Georgia, which, it was a little bit upsetting, things like that. But my father was there for my debut as a professional wrestler, following my dreams, so that kind of made up for it and everything like that. And that was pretty great. But as far as going out there in my hometown, it was surreal. It was really an amazing experience, standing in the ring with Kurt, Ken, Devon, Bubba. I walked out there in uniform, and it was rough. I was trying to hold back the tears a little bit, and that kind of thing. But I was a little bit nervous standing in the ring. I remember I was kind of shifting back and forth, moving back and forth. I was so nervous, and Bubba just whispers in my ears, "Stop having happy feet, kid. Calm down."
It's good advice.
Yeah, that's got to be a great moment it's your teachers, or not only who taught you, they're bringing you in and they're endorsing you in front of everyone, so it's genuine. It's not someone else in story, in character, that they're putting you in an angle of this other fictional setting. It's genuine and it's true.
Exactly. And I mean, it's my true story and everything like that, but just the fact to be endorsed by guys like Bubba and Devon, for them to put their stamp of approval on you just means so much. I mean, and no pressure, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta live up to that whole thing. But I'm just I love them like my fathers. I love them like my uncles. I love them like my brothers, and they're always there for me no matter what, whether from professionally or personally. I could always count on them and always call them. I still go down to their school and train and things like that. Keep myself in shape, try to help the guys that are coming after me, things like that, whatever I can offer.
And I got to say, you jumped right into the roster. I mean, you've had a lot of great moments over the last couple of years, specifically you and Eric Young. I mean, what's it like taking a pile driver from the psychopath, maniac, whatever he wants to call himself?
It's pretty awesome. I've been kind of patted on the back about taking the pile drivers a little bit and things like that. It's pretty good. I know I'm in good hands with EY.
Yep.
It's a night off when you get in the ring with him. I can't say enough good things about him. He's really amazing. I just actually texted him about 2 weeks ago and just was telling him what a privilege it was to work with him and learn from him. Just every time I got in the ring, I feel like I gained something else. I got a little more knowledge. I got a little bit smarter, and just by listening to him or being around him, his words of inspiration and his knowledge and advice is just amazing.
I mean, he's one of the few people in the business who can handle comedy at 100% and also be like a De Niro Taxi Driver psycho at 100%. It's amazing how well-rounded he is.
Exactly. He has so much range. I mean, the amount of characters that he can play, it's amazing. EY can do it all.
No doubt.
Now, Chris, I want to ask you, I'm curious, how does a storyline come about? Obviously, part of your story is what happened when you were serving and what happened to your leg. How does a story like that get incorporated into the wrestling ring? Like, who approaches you? Do you okay that? Is that your idea?
Well, I mean, what it is. I mean, it's the path of least resistance. I like to think. I mean, and the path of least resistance being, well, hey, you have a nice titanium shiny prosthetic leg there, so let's use that as a story. Why wouldn't you? So,
right.
We'll just roll with that. But I think as far as booking it in a smart way is look at what I've been through. A traumatic event. All these things that I've suffered. Well, let's put that in the ring. I could take punishment and keep on coming. I could take punishment and get back up and keep going. That's what it is. I mean, and in a sense, people can relate to that and connect to that, not necessarily from a veteran or combat standpoint, but that's what life is. Life is a pain in the ass. Life is pain. It's a series of decisions. It's about how tough you are. You got to keep getting back up every single day and fighting.
Absolutely. Now, my other part of that question would be then, how do you go from that and that being part of a storyline to then not being that as your sole identity, because you've grown and become so much more than that, So what was that hard to do when automatically people think, oh, that's the guy whose leg is like that? How do you break away from that?
Yeah, it's my time in the military and what happened to me. I don't want that to be the thing that defines me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is what happened. I overcame it, and I moved forward, and I'm accomplishing my goals. I wanted to be a soldier on the front line, and I wanted to be a professional wrestler. So on to the next one. I'm a professional wrestler. So, I mean, if we have to use that as a story, I'm perfectly comfortable with that. I mean, a lot of guys are not. A lot of guys are not willing to be as open or as comical as I am about it, because I have the biggest sense of humor in the world about it. I think my comedy about the whole thing makes people uncomfortable sometimes. They don't know whether to laugh or not.
I experienced that on the tour a little bit. I mean, I always because I always laughed, but I mean, when you would crack jokes around people that weren't on the tour, they would just kind of look at the rest of us like, "Can I giggle?" No.
Yeah, is it the right time? What does he mean? Should I laugh?
Well, I remember.
I think I took a picture in front of IHOP.
Yeah, you did.
It was great.
Yep.
Well, I remember. Chris, you came out here when you relatively new to the TNA roster, and you were with Ken. I think it was right when they made the transition to, I think it was at first Destination America, right?
Yep.
And they had you guys come to that conference, and we all went out and one of my friends joined, and I remember you were making some jokes, and she pulled me to the side at one point, and she goes, "Am I allowed to laugh at these jokes? They're really funny, but I don't want to be rude, And I'm like, no, he's cool with it. Like, he's telling them to make you laugh, So.
Exactly. It's like I tell people, it wasn't all bad in Iraq. I went there, I had a blast. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Speaking of which, a lot of people wonder this. I think I know the answer to this, but what do you prefer when you're in the ring? Do you prefer the prosthesis or one leg?
I absolutely, positively, 110% hate wearing the prosthesis.
I knew it.
Because I am so limited with what I could do. I mean, as you can see, you could watch me in the ring. The leg, it doesn't really. I have to bend it myself and do all kinds of things with the leg off.
Yeah.
I'm far more agile. I could roll. I can move. I could jump. I can go to the top. I could do that. I mean, I haven't even really showcased my capabilities. And I mean, as any young guy in the business is always, I want to prove myself. I want to show what I could do. But at the end of the day, it's about telling the story. You want to tell the story, and if the story means that the damn leg doesn't come off until it's time to come off, I support that because I support the story and I support the program where it needs to go.
Well, when it comes down to it, the prosthesis like that, as amazing as they are, they're built for stability. They're not made for professional wrestling, so I can understand why it would be a hindrance.
Johnny, it's a weapon.
Right.
It's a weapon. It shouldn't be allowed, Johnny.
Technically, you had Luger with the forearm. It's like you got me with the steel leg. You know what I mean? So the whole thing.
I love it.
But this prosthesis is actually designed to help soldiers return to combat. So I've actually destroyed about 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
So the VA The VA is not too happy about that because these cost $65,000 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I go, well, hey, if this can't, survive in a wrestling ring, how do you expect it to survive in combat? So you should thank me for testing your product for you.
You're doing research. They should hang all your former prostheses up on the wall.
In fact, they should be paying you more for doing this testing for them, is what I think.
They should be bedazzling it.
I didn't.
They should be bedazzling it like Jericho's jacket. That thing's $15,000. You're like $65,000. They should get some lights on there.
There you go.
No, you know what's funny is in December, I almost did it. The Christmas story I was watching, I was like, hey, I should totally wrap Christmas lights around my legs. And put
you know what?
Must be Italian.
Chris, that's a project we may have to work on in August.
We have to.
We're gonna have a little spin. We're gonna have a little downtime, so I think we may have to come up with some ideas for that.
It'll be like a Christmas story, the light up leg.
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
Chris Melendez leg lamp.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Well, last question, man. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, of course. It's now been 10 years since 2006 when you lost your leg serving our country. And obviously, you didn't only just survive, you thrived and you achieved things that many people would deem impossible. Some people believe we all have a distinct path. Other people believe that certain things are just meant to happen. Where do you kind of stand when taking a look back at your life and the way it went after 2006?
I feel that we are all responsible for blazing our own trail. I mean, you could say it's fate. This is the way things are going to go. Or this is the way this is going to happen. But the truth is, we make our own bed. We're going to have to lay in it. You could feel sorry for yourself laying on a hospital bed, like so many guys did. Didn't mean that not bad people, but I mean, I understand. It's a difficult situation. You wake up, you're missing a limb, you're missing an arm, you're missing a leg, or whatever it may be. But the important thing is, okay, you could be upset about it, but you can't be stuck there. You can't. You have to learn to turn the stumbling blocks into stepping stones. How can a situation, propel me to the next level? Like life is 90-10. It's 10% what happens to you, 90% how you deal with it. So I just choose to try to use things to benefit me and not feel sorry for myself. From day one in the hospital, I said, you give me 6 months and I'll be out of here. And I actually did it in 8 months. I was up and walking in about 45 days or something like that. Like I forced myself and I pushed myself. I refused to sit there in the bed. You hear about guys being stuck in the hospital for 3 years and things like that. I said, that's definitely not going to be the case here. I promise you.
And I'm telling you, man. Go ahead.
What I'd like to do now. Sorry for over talking.
No, please. We want you to talk as much as you want to. That's awesome.
The floor is yours, sir.
One thing I kind of shied away from for several years was actually going back to, military hospitals, in Washington or in San Antonio at Brooke Army Medical Center, and visiting wounded soldiers. But that is something that I'm interested in now. I think that I'm strong enough now to handle that. I don't think I was ready before, but I think that the status that I'm at now and the things that I've done, I'm able to be a source of inspiration for soldiers who are down on themselves. Because I remember when I was in the bed, there were 2 guys with prosthetic legs that walked in, and they were like, hey, bro, you're going to be fine. And combined with my own motivation and seeing them, I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to be fine. Like, I'm getting the hell out of this bed, right? I'm moving on. So I want to go and actually visit wounded soldiers and try to be that source of inspiration, because you feel so alone. I mean, you got all these people around you, but when the lights are out and you're laying there in the bed, it's just you with your injuries that you're suffering with.
Yeah, and you saw on the tour last year, you're a hero to many people, and so I commend you for doing that. And I can't wait to continue to plan this little tour we got going in August, man. It's going to be amazing.
No, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I had a fantastic time last year. I mean, it was a little bit emotional for me. I mean, we had a couple moments where everybody was kind of rallying around me and things like that, and I'm like choking back tears and things like that, trying to keep my hard ass face on and stuff.
Well,
but it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and I was able to share my story with a lot of guys and things like that. But yeah, it was cool being back in the sandbox, as we like to call it. You know what I mean?
Well, considering where we're planning on going, I think the emotions might be there again this year. But we'll announce that once it's official. But regardless, looking forward to it. Go ahead, Chuck.
Chris, is based on what you just said about how you want to go back out and start helping people, are there any organizations for other people out there that might hear this that are like, hey, I want to get involved and help too, that you would recommend they connect with?
I mean, I'm still doing my research myself. I mean, I'm interested in starting a NPO, nonprofit organization myself, to help veterans and things like that. Kind of like cut through the red tape, because there are so many benefits that are available to wounded soldiers and veterans. But I mean, you come back, you know, your head's a little bit rattled. You're on some medication and things like that, so you're really not aware of your benefits. So you kind of push to the side and things like that. And I just want to, like I said, kind of cut through the red tape and say, hey, this is what you can do. This is what's available to you. This is what can help you, and you can move forward with your life and help your family and help yourself and things like that. So I feel like a lot of guys kind of push away because it's not a veteran saying it to them. It's just somebody in a suit coming in, hey, X, Y, and Z. But you know, when it's a brother of their own that says, hey, man, it's going to be all right. You need to do this and you need to do that because I did this, and you're going to be fine. That's what I want to do.
That's very commendable, man.
Absolutely. Well, find him on Twitter at CMelendezTNA. And we can't thank you enough for finally being on the show. And hey, we want to have you on plenty more anytime you want. You have something to promote, you let us know. And of course, you and I will be talking plenty over the next couple of months as well. And we can't thank you enough.
Hey, absolutely. I had a great time. Thanks for having me on. I'd love to be back on. I feel like there's so much more to talk about. You're cutting me short here.
Oh, dude, I want to do a whole entire sit-down with you at some point. Trust me, we will make that happen.
Bro, I want to have you back in L.A. where you're in here with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be great.
Because I think you've been telling me
pretty soon, so I'll definitely hit you guys up and let you know.
Right, because you've been telling me that for how long that you're coming back out here?
He's coming.
You know, situations have changed recently, so I really will be out there very, very soon. Probably faster than you think.
All right, man.
Hey, man, I'm all about that.
Sounds good. Sergeant Chris Melendez, we salute you, man. Thanks again.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you, brother.
Dude, I love that guy. Like,
he's the best.
When, you know, as I mentioned, we went out that one time when he was in LA with Ken, and dude he just has a spirit about him that you don't meet a lot of people who you talk with them and you just feel inspired to go out and be a better person. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that he is able to make jokes about a situation that, I mean, many people, if it happened to them, I don't think would find funny, and be able to make jokes like that, it just tells you what kind of good-spirited person he is.
Yeah, I mean, just to see the way people responded to him and his stories on the tour last year in the Middle East, it's just, it's you can't really explain, and it's just an honor to be able to do it with him. And like I said, once everything becomes official, we're going to make an announcement on the show. But very exciting stuff, and it's great to have him on the show, and long time coming. So.
Absolutely.
But Dale is back on the line. We have so much stuff to talk about. We're going to get right in. We're going to do a little bit different this week. Since we have New Day at the end, we're going to get to WWE a little bit later on. Because first things first, we got to talk about how Global Wars from Ring of Honor ended. Yeah, a whole bunch of that. The super kick counter got up to about 50. Oh, wow. Okay, so Colt Cabana, Jay Lethal, having a match in Colt's hometown for the World Championship. And out of nowhere, the Young Bucks come down. They super kick a referee. They super kick Taylor Hendricks after Nigel McGuinness already ejected Taylor Hendricks, our good friend Nigel McGuinness. Then the
You're
lights...
out of here. Get out. Go on.
That's exactly what he said.
Leave.
The Bucks get in the ring. They toss Bullet Club t-shirts to Colt and Lethal. Then the lights go completely out. The lights come back on. Adam Cole, Bebe, is standing there in a Bullet Club
Adam
t-shirt.
Cole in a Chris Jericho jacket, of all things.
Right. Who would have thought?
Super kicked Mitch.
And then the super kicks just get cracking. And everyone gets super kicked. All the security, all the referees. Kevin Kelly, Mr. Wrestling 3, although... Mr. Wrestling 3, I was okay with the super kick. He was yelling way too loud.
Johnny, you even got super kicked while watching it at home.
I did. My chin is very sore.
Mm-hmm. The young Bucks can do no wrong.
You were number 51, weren't you, Johnny?
Yeah, they didn't count me, though, because they didn't see it. But I felt it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, Global
I think
Wars...
it was a fun way to end the pay-per-view, but, I mean, I really was hoping, or at least I was pulling for Colt to take that title with him. But he was looking in good shape, too.
Oh, he's in great shape. And the audience was very pissed off because they wanted to see it as a definite winner, and obviously they wanted Colt to be that winner. But at the same time, though, as a whole, I love this finish because it makes you want to come back for more and wonder what's going to happen next, because they really destroyed everybody. And then even the camera guy puts his camera down, they super kick him, and it goes off the air with the Bucks and Adam Cole just laying in the ring and having the camera spray painted. I mean,
Never put your camera down if you're a cameraman. Never.
Well, they were about to kick him, and the one guy yells
That's
out, "There's a $60,000 camera!" And he puts it down, and then he gets super kicked.
Exactly. You'd never put it down.
I mean,
That's your shield right there.
Who is more entertaining than the Young Bucks?
yeah.
I mean everything they touch, whether it's in the ring, whether it's promos they cut, whether it's them on social media, like they are funny dudes.
Yep.
Did you see what they did to Jim Cornette on Twitter over I think it was like in the last week, maybe over the weekend?
Probably said thank you and something polite.
I don't want to know.
Would be my guess.
Basically, long story short, Jim Cornette made some really ignorant comments about how Kenny Omega is not a good wrestler.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Which, first of all, like that's just a ridiculous statement. But then,
you know what's crazy?
You're getting Cornette about Cornette.
But you know what's crazy?
What
It's just
him.
But Cornette has the ability.
It's like, ah, geez.
But Cornette, you know, every time Cornette sits in with JR, he sounds great and totally clear, and then he'll go and just get pissed off and rant about stuff. It's like, dude.
I find it amazing. Like, I appreciate his differing, old-timey
Me too.
wrestling.
I do appreciate it.
Because he's not a sports entertainment guy.
But to say that Kenny Omega is not a good wrestler
is insane.
Is one of the stupidest things you could ever say. Fine. So you say it. Kenny had some comment back, and then all the Young Bucks did was post a video of one of Jim Cornette's really old, stupid gimmicks, like just ridiculous, cheesy gimmick.
Oh boy!
And it was just. For whoever's listening, you can go back and find it. It won't be hard, I'm sure, because it's a whole.
But the Bucks being nerds
but the Bucks
and like
being
knowing
funny and just like coming in out of nowhere where they have no business in the middle of it. Really, like it has nothing to do with them. No one's insulting them, and they're just like, "Hey, you're stupid, and we don't like what you're saying." Boom.
And I'm sure.
But that's their boy, though. I mean, they're Bullet Club for life.
Yeah. And don't forget the Bucks stay in character on Twitter too. I can only imagine. I'm sure Cornette had a few retorts for them.
No, that guy hardly says anything in reaction ever.
No, he never gets upset.
I would love to have Jim Cornette on this show one day just so we can like argue with him.
I don't want to argue with him. I think that might get dangerous.
I would have a discussion with him, man.
Discussion would be great. I don't want to argue. That might get
I want to put him and Dale's neighbor in a room together.
I want to go to Dairy Queen with him. That's what I want to do.
I love Dairy Queen. You know me and Blizzard.
Would you challenge him to a game of tennis, maybe?
Yeah.
Anyone for tennis?
In a Blizzard match. Winner gets Blizzards from Dairy Queen.
All deuces.
Yeah.
All deuces.
So yeah, with that said, I mean, Ring of Honor, very exciting stuff. I know a lot of people didn't like having a non-finish, if you will, but if you're going to have a non-finish, you might as well go all out, and that's exactly what Bullet Club did.
That's that dastardly Bullet Club.
Yeah, and Adam Cole's a hell of a fit. Mm-hmm. So, and it's interesting,
I know that
too.
people don't like dirty finishes like that in general, but I think that, they're one of the few places that you're still paying for a pay-per-view, so I could definitely see people getting riled up over having a finish like that when they're shelling out some cash.
For sure.
But I mean, it's still you got to have those chapters and stories where you are upset and you are angered by it and you want to see the next thing and get the sweet revenge and comeuppance and all that. Like sometimes it's just the case.
And they cuffed Jay Lethal to the ropes and super kicked him about 19 times. So what does that mean? Are we going to see Cabana and Lethal team up to try to take out Bullet Club? I mean, there's a lot of options as far as storytelling goes. So,
do they get the Mountie to come help them out? With the shock stick.
He does enforce the law.
He does.
How speaking of Bullet Club, how crazy is it to just think about for a minute that there is some version of that faction in so many different prominent wrestling promotions right now?
There are many.
Like that's kind of crazy when you stop and think about it.
There certainly are many. Oh, whoops! I hit her.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the show.
Whoops. That button's right next to the super kick button. My bad. See, the super kick button gets everything just all over the place.
Yeah, it's super kick the sound on.
It's super kick the song on. Anyways, kudos to Ring of Honor. I hope it was a hugely successful Global Wars for you, and we look forward to seeing more. And we got to get Nigel back on as well. Let's cover Impact here. Lashley just attacking Drew at the gym. Nothing is sacred.
That's why I don't go to the gym.
Right, because your enemies are going to clearly see you going in the gym. They're going to, there's old Nova tossing up them kettlebells again.
Yeah, let's attack him.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I mean, geez.
I'm just reading your rundown of what happened on Impact, and I love the part where you write, DK does weird shit.
They do.
This is beautiful.
I can't even explain what Dale.
They're the new beautiful people, as far as I'm concerned.
Dale, what I can't. Rosemary and spitting. I don't know what else to say.
I know. It might be Beautiful People if Marilyn Manson version is your one you're referring, but I think it was an interesting way to have them reborn, maybe. But it was very. I mean, it was a great moment for Rosemary. To be honest with you, this is really
she's killing it.
Her time to shine.
Yeah. It was almost like, you know, the old SNL sketches where someone throws up, they have a little tube running down the sleeve and it just explodes. That's what it looked like whenever she exercised from her body into the faces of Abyss and Crazy Steve. It definitely was different, and like I said, Rosemary is just, she's an incredible performer, and they are the tag team champs.
Yeah, it's a great
I would be
faction.
very curious what was in that liquid because it gave Steve his voice back. And it made Abyss wear makeup. So it's a very interesting concoction.
It could be Bootios.
Abyss needs...
Makes sense.
Abyss needs to be given his props here too, man. That's another guy who has gone out there and done every weird storyline, every crazy thing that TNA has asked of him, and he's one of the people that stayed loyal to that company when so many others have left for periods of time or whatever. I think he's one of the guys that's been there almost since the very beginning that hasn't...
I thought he left once.
Maybe.
For a period,
but did
like
he
a
go
short period of
somewhere
time.
else? Like, he didn't go and wrestle somewhere else. Because during the time when he left, he was working as a backstage agent for TNA.
Oh, okay.
So he never technically left the company.
Oh, okay.
You know, like and that's commendable too, because he's probably been approached by other places before.
Sure, he's a great asset for anybody.
Yeah, we've sung his praises many times. The guy can do it all. I mean, I'll be honest, when he was playing his brother, he was fantastic.
Oh my God.
Park and Park? Come on.
Joseph Park was one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
That
it
weird
was so
tracksuit.
good.
So good. So good.
I love
and
when he
accidentally winning and getting offense in. No, he is awesome. I love all versions.
Him and Bubba had a great little feud there with that.
Really good. When he first started showing up looking for his brother Abyss, the way he would explain, he'd go, "You know my brother Abyss," and like do the sign like, "Yeah, he's much taller than me." It's like, "Nah, bro, you're 6'8".
He was a little shorter than him.
I'm sure he was. But yeah, once again, the jam-packed show here. The main event was Hardy versus Bennett versus Lashley. Drew Galloway, the champ, special guest referee. Once again, a whole bunch of crazy stuff happens. Lashley spears Hardy while Galloway is down, but once he comes back up, Lashley gets the pin for the win, so therefore it's going to be Lashley, Drew Galloway. Really interesting match there, Dale.
Not a huge surprise. I mean, we did start the show with Lashley and Galloway, so I was kind of expecting it to go this way. But, I mean, the match itself was pretty phenomenal, and I like that all these guys get to shine. I mean, this and the match with Eli Drake where he faked to cash in, I think was another standout match. I mean, everybody's really getting to have their moments on TNA. I just can't stop watching with a little trepidation about where this is all going, and it all makes me very, very nervous and a little want to know what's going to happen with TNA.
They need an investor, man.
Here's how I've always watched TNA when I watch TNA, Dale, and this is the best way to do it. Just assume it's not going anywhere, but enjoy the match for what it is, and you'll be able to enjoy TNA a whole lot more. Because chances are it's not going anywhere.
If it turns into a spin-off show called Fact of Life hosted by Eli Drake, that is all right.
Dummy,
Yeah, we'd be okay with it. Also, Sienna debuts. Maria kind of uses her as a weapon to beat up Jade, so brand new knockout, as we talked about in the past couple of weeks. Knockout division really kind of hurting. Numbers are dwindling, so you bring in this girl Sienna named Allison Kay. I think she was located in Florida. I might be wrong. Much bigger than Jade. That could be something interesting to see. And like you mentioned, Dale, Bram retains King of the Mountain title, but Eli Drake almost cashes in, but he ends up running like a scalded dog. So,
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Full episode.
Just waiting for the right moment to attack.
Yeah, full episode to say the least. Hopefully we see more episodes of Fact of Life in the near future.
And he just re-signed with TNA too, they announced. So.
He did. And obviously you could also see him on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Watch on Fight TV or on KDOC on YouTube America. That said, for Impact Wrestling, moving on, Lucha Underground, we can easily say this is one of the best I Quit matches we've seen between Sexy Star and Mariposa. It was called a No Mas match.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not an I Quit match, Johnny.
When it's the greatest,
No Mas.
Then it's the greatest No Mas match we've ever seen.
Oh my God, was it
I think that's the only No Mas match I've ever seen.
It might be.
Oh, you guys don't go to watch the No Mas matches?
I mean, Sexy Star had some choice words. Oh. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane on television. Dale, what did you think about that?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, that particular moment that you just played of her just screaming F you as she drips blood from her own head onto the mat. I mean, it was such a strong moment, and the amount of nerves that it took for them to be up in the rafters like that. There was definitely a moment where Sexy Star was getting choked by the, like the guardrail, and her legs were hanging free. So, I mean, had anything gone wrong, I mean, she could have just been dumped into the audience below. It looked like some people were getting dripped on by her blood here.
Yeah.
It was very, very intense, and a great main event for Lucha.
What an amazing, and they went all the way to the top. She was hanging just from she came back down. They got into the ring. Mariposa has her locked in a submission hold, and that's when the referee, I forget who the referee was. Was it
Marty?
It was Marty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He asked her, do you give up? No mas. And she says, yeah. People
So
going crazy.
I could not believe it that she's just screaming the F-bomb at Mariposa.
Hey, when Robert Rodriguez is in charge and you ask him, hey man, could we get graphic? He's going to say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they did rip somebody's heart out of their chest last week, so.
Point taken.
Things be happening.
Just imagine when Robert Rodriguez brings in his good friend Quentin Tarantino to direct an episode of Lucha Underground.
And Quentin will have some awkward cameo.
It's bound to happen at some
She's
point.
working the graveyard shift at the hospital. Get it taken care of. Remember that Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I hear you.
Just want to make sure. But yeah, also really not to mention in this match, the Mac playing hero, getting rid of Marty.
Yeah, because Marty kept showing up during that match.
Kept showing up. Not only defeating him for the Aztec medallion with a sweet stunner, taking care of him during the No Mas match. And I love this. I love the friendship between Sexy Star and the Mac. It's great.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah, super weird.
Did it start with in the hallway when she was running? Is that where it all began?
He kind of saved her.
Yeah.
And, he basically is trying to get her to not be afraid.
Yeah,
and this was her
working.
way. Oh, it's really working.
He's I think he's technically her life coach.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about a life coach.
Blaze
in just
the
a little
trail
bit.
right there.
Yes, we are. And once again, famous B.
Also, Puma Ray and Dragon Azteca coming out as champs. These three are definitely awesome together. But I don't know what the deal is. They said Angelico was injured off air, as far as I understand. So I don't know what's going on with him and how long he's going to be missing from TV. But it's too bad when that happens, especially on a show that kind of runs shorter seasons to get an injury in the middle of holding a title.
Big time. We will have to see what happens there. And of course, Famous B is awesome as always. 423 get fame. You call that number, you will hear his voicemail. We've done it. It's real.
What'd you say?
Johnny, stop stalling and start balling.
That's right. That's how I live my life, Dale.
I know.
That's how your neighbor lives. We know that much. He's always he's always walking over to your place, knocking on the door.
My ball fell in your yard.
Yeah.
Can you get it for me?
Because now I got to start balling again. I'm stalling if the ball is in your yard.
It's ball out right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My ball is out.
Could you get my ball? Also my Frisbee.
Dale?
So my barbecue tongs.
Yeah, it's tennis ball. It's my little dog was chewing
my
on.
Lego Star Wars Imperial Walkers over there too.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a party.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in DC in a couple weeks seeing Dale, and I cannot wait to meet his neighbor. Can't wait.
I can.
I have enough friends.
I can wait.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep knocking on Dale's door. They going to answer.
When he coming? I won't be there.
Yeah.
Dale's setting up an interview for me with his neighbor.
I've got a very tight schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It mostly involves throwing balls in Dale's yard and not getting them back. All right, moving on. Let's get to NXT and WWE. Eric Young, which we talked about with Sergeant Melendez just a little while ago, ruined Samoa Joe's celebration. And in the main event, how about that? Eric Young shows up and wrestles on his first damn appearance. Samoa Joe hits a muscle buster and the Coquina clutch for the win. But wow, I mean, I didn't see the Eric Young thing we thought maybe, but he showed up.
Yeah, and in a big way.
World-class maniac.
When it first happened, when it first broke, I just thought like, oh, he runs in and does something that it wouldn't be a match, and it wouldn't be the prestige of showing up to interrupt Joe. That's crazy. I love that they're always elevating these guys in big stories.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how true this is, but Eric Young did an interview where he said like it wasn't like planned that way originally. They just brought him in to talk, and him and Triple H hit it off, and he's like, hey, you want to go on air tonight? And he's like, that's cool. Yeah, got my gear here. So it goes to say, always be prepared.
Yeah.
Always bring your gear.
It's amazing how things happen that way. I mean, they're not always super planned out.
Because I don't think he's officially signed.
It's actually a good contrast, too, to have him come in and just get in there from the get-go, because we've had a lot of guys with huge build-ups. I mean, Primo and Epico probably are the masters of that at this point. But, yeah, I liked it just for the variety of having somebody come in and be like, shabam, I'm here, and I'm wrestling your champ.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's signed to a contract yet officially, or he wasn't as of a couple days ago. So,
well, after you wrestle and you're really sweaty, it's hard to hold a pen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sign it the next day. Speaking of great matches, though, Austin Aries and Ty Dillinger, fantastic. Aries with the win, of course, but that's two guys that the fans love. They were kind of conflicted there. And then Aries, a great promo afterwards where he needed to go replenish his potassium levels with a banana. But I like what he said, Dale, where he mentioned about how people don't know how to take Austin Aries. And that's okay, because his whole career, people have underestimated him. They haven't quite known how to take him. And everything's going to work itself out. Kind of the premise of what his promo was. I really dug that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good way to address it, because it is, I mean, in that match especially, it was definitely felt. I mean, Ty is kind of a homegrown guy there now for NXT as far as the audience is concerned, and Austin, I think, you know, can feel that, and he went up against Baron, you know, who just gets more boos than anything back when he was at NXT. Now, I don't know. It seems like the audience is kind of digging him. But either way, I like that he at least addressed it, because it keeps it feeling real, and he says, don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And he's got something up his sleeve, I'm sure. And that 450 splash, oof.
He can do it all.
Killer.
He's one of those people that can do it all in the ring, and I love it, because he doesn't always do it all. He does it when it's necessary, and that makes the fans like, oh, he's got that in his tool belt too? Good Lord.
Wait, you mean he doesn't give it away all on the first date, Johnny?
That's pretty much what I said. Yes.
That means it's on, y'all.
And as far as
Johnny,
and closing out NXT,
first date gives it all away.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often.
You got to take advantage of those opportunities, Scott.
Yeah.
And also, no way Jose wins. So that happens.
All right,
So
that's a fair assessment.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Do we know who No Way Jose? I had never heard of him before his debut a couple weeks ago. I mean, I'd heard his name of he was coming, but are you guys aware of him before NXT?
I used to watch Full House when I was a kid, and I remember Michelle Tanner really hyping up the debut of this guy. And it's been a long time
No Way
coming.
Jose. That was not one of her taglines.
Yeah, it was.
Well, does that mean does that mean You Got It Dude is going to debut soon as well?
Yeah, they're going to be a tag team. I mean, it's about to go as long as the Primo and Epico from Puerto Rico vignettes have been going on.
Hey,
that's about as long as it's been.
I've learned a lot about Puerto Rico. There's hot chicks and good food. I know that much.
Yeah. There's finally other people that live in Puerto Rico that they've shown.
There you go.
It's just two of them for quite a while.
So No Way Jose and You Got It Dude are teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's money.
Yeah. You know, their
It's like
manager.
the new Mega Powers, dude.
Yeah, that's big time Mega Powers.
Yeah, their manager, Have Mercy.
Oh no,
be looking out for him.
Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, Scotty, you know how to tie a bow on things, don't you?
Yep. That no one wants the gift of.
Oh, that's okay. Let's get to WWE, and then we got to get to the interview, and then we're going to close out the show because it's just been so much stuff.
So much.
I love how Raw ends with Stephanie and Shane just getting along, and then Steph smiling warmly at the frame of Shane and Vince from back in the day. I love how that ended.
I was so happy with that segment that it was not the typical, like, Shane leaves the room,
she looks dirty,
at photos,
right,
and then does something evil, maniacal. It's like, you're on camera, like he can hear about it, it can be watched. It was, you know, you can interpret a little bit of like, that wasn't the biggest, warmest smile in the world. It has a bit of sinister to it, but you know, she's coming off as just genuine. I love that.
Me too.
That was
Look,
great.
This is a period right now where WWE, as far as their storytelling is going, is on par. They're doing the little things right that matter. You know, they go a long way, and I think it shows top to bottom, from the top of the show last night, all the way to the end with that final punch right there, you know, of the Stephanie McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff.
Dale, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like it because we are getting the storytelling of her without having to be so hitting you in the head with it as well. So I think we suspect that something is up, but I think it's smart to keep Triple H off of TV for a little while so that we can maybe think, oh, she's turning a new leaf, and so whatever happens, whether this is true or whether there's a turn on Shane moment coming up, it doesn't have Triple H there for her to be having these like side conversations of like what's really going on, or perhaps to have him sell what's the fake situation too. So I think it's really being played smartly between them.
Yeah, take our time. Don't rush.
And it's great too because it's, you know, it goes back to something we were talking about a couple weeks ago on here. You can go back and listen to all the past episodes on iTunes. Where, you know, it's like using the story from top to bottom. You know, like, it's not just like showing us something and that's it till next week of it. They've found a way to incorporate multiple storylines through Stephanie and Shane in a way where it's also getting Shane out there and like having them come out and interrupt matches, having them come out and make stuff happen. Whereas before, when Shane first came, it was like, I think you had said, Scott, it's like we barely saw him on the night he was running Raw. You know? Yeah,
it didn't feel like he was running it. And now they feel like they're involved in the show.
And then Steph and Jericho had a great moment because we can't forget the history between those two. Jericho was very, very upset about the audacity of Big Cass, and Stephanie did not agree with him, and she actually had this to say.
Don't ever make that mistake again.
And of course she was talking about Jericho trying to drive a wedge between her and Shane. Steph was on point all episode. I just love all these feuds. Of course, Ambrose steals he punches Jericho in the mush, takes the jacket, and then rips up the jacket. These two can do no wrong right now in their feud.
Don't forget how funny Jericho was at the beginning with all the Mitch stuff. Like,
it's hilarious.
Like Mitch has become the greatest character ever.
Mitch is dead.
Mitch is not dead to me. He's still in my mind, Scott.
He's gone.
And props to Big Cass too, because he stole the show for me on Raw last night or Monday night.
Did a great job.
I like that he's taking this opportunity without Big Cass there to show that he's capable of carrying his own too. I was just disappointed we didn't get to see that match.
It'll happen. Dale, question: have you ever been involved in?
Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever been in a club? Because there's a new club. It's called The Club.
What kind of club, Johnny?
It's called The Club.
Is that where you get a club sandwich?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that where you get new hair plugs?
No, I'm not sure.
Are you a member and the president?
I'm certainly not at liberty to discuss that. So yeah, they're The Club. Gallows and Anderson. What do you think, Dill?
I mean, you know, this is already kind of. I mean, they've been teasing this for as long as WrestleMania, I guess, was over. But it is interesting that they finally are officially together. But I want to see how this plays out at the pay-per-view, because with the Extreme Rules, they certainly could get involved, even though he says he wants to beat them alone. So I still feel like this could turn into a nastier situation between the three of them, but I really like this pairing up. I mean, honestly, this whole feud has really sold me on Reigns as far as how much more he's capable of. Certainly, he still could use some mic situation, but I mean, the two of them, chemistry-wise, in the ring has just been a real treat to watch.
I agree, Dale, that Matt Hardy should be helping out Roman Reigns on the mic, but this whole club thing.
I think you mean Maxell.
Yeah, Maxell.
Yeah, well, Maxell should also help him with ring work.
Yeah, for sure. Maxell.
Hey, Maxell's a little tied up teaching Warzeka's baby things right now.
I know, this baby got to learn the ropes.
Maxell can do it all. But no, I agree, man. I think Reigns and AJ are just crushing it right now with this feud. I mean, they're really making me completely invested. And you wouldn't think generally you have someone the size of Reigns and the size of AJ standing next to each other, you wouldn't think, oh, AJ's got a shot. With the way this is happening, I completely could think AJ has a shot of beating him. I mean, he pretty much had him beat at Payback.
He beat him twice, technically.
He did.
Well, I like how one of our listeners pointed out, too, that I didn't even think about the fact, but there's no rope break and no disqualification match, so technically AJ did beat him.
Yeah. Point taken.
And I don't know, there's something where I find it kind of funny. For a while, AJ is in named groups, and those groups fall apart because we had Y2 AJ, and that didn't last. And if the club assembles and that falls apart, like that doesn't last. If somehow like he's just meant to be a solo guy, and storytelling wise, like everything that he comes together with people, it just falls apart.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to lead towards obviously the club versus Usos at Extreme Rules too, and that could be a hell of a fun match.
Club Uso.
Yeah, this is the best way for them to use the Usos for a team that was kind of running on low fumes there. I think this has been a great revitalization for those two guys as well.
No doubt. Speaking of revitalization, there's a campaign out there to make Darren Young great again.
Wrestling is life!
And it's involving Bob Backlund. And hell yes.
And awkward pills.
Oh my God.
I mean, we talked about it a lot on AfterBuzz TV SmackDown.
So good.
Quite a bit. That it's weird.
I love how it's so purposely weird though. Like Darren Young says something and Backlund has like a 5-second delay, like he's in some other country lives, like a live feed.
Sure,
it's
he is.
Weird.
Not in the same room at all. It's so bizarre.
It's definitely an odd approach, but the two of those guys are pretty odd anyway. So I think it's a fun pairing to see how odd it can get. It kind of is, in a way, sort of like Goldust, R-Truth kind of mishmash of personalities. I don't have any idea where they could possibly take this. But hey, you know, I don't get a lot of things at first.
Hey, you know, that's what people said about Donald Trump too, and now look what we're stuck with. So
Hall of Famer.
What a horrible segue.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I want them to just have more freedom in what they're doing. I don't want it to be as micromanaged, because that felt like there were moments, but then that it just felt really directed, that segment. It feels super weird when they're in the same room in front of two different green screens, not looking at each other. But case in point,
my
like
understanding was it was pre-recorded though. So
oh yeah.
It probably was technically directed.
But it felt like really like people are cueing them rather than them just listening to each other and talking. Because
no, but I think it was awkward on purpose. I think it was completely, because when Darren Young said something, Bob Backlund had a really weird, like 6-second delay before. I think they're making it purposely that weird, like almost like a Tim and Eric Awesome Show segment.
Oh, you think there's that much sophistication being put into this?
I do.
Well, that's great. I guess I don't believe that yet. I hope
I
that
sure
is the
as hell
case.
don't
If they
believe
wanted
that.
to make it look amazing, they would have cut it differently to where Bob Backlund responded right away to Darren Young.
Would they have the Johnny?
Sure.
Would they
Yes,
have?
of course they would have.
All right.
Come on.
All right, we'll see what the coming weeks has for this campaign.
I mean, and number one, can you really micromanage Bob Backlund?
Someone tried to, I think.
I mean, can you imagine Bob Backlund at ringside? How many first row audience members are going to get cross-faced chicken wing? By God, Dale, you suffered a cross-faced chicken wing.
It's true. I don't recommend it for anybody. I mean, he is a loose. I mean, that's what I think is interesting about it. Is this definitely has a car wreck type quality to it, where I feel like I'm enticed by the awfulness that could happen, but I'm guessing they have a game plan. I just don't have any clue what it could possibly be.
Look, WWE took Zeb Coulter away from us. They had to replace it with something equally awesome, and I think that's where Bob Backlund comes in now.
Wrestling is life!
I mean, they got that going on, which is exciting. And also on SmackDown this week, they're finally going to have the match of Goldango versus the Gorgeous Truth.
Oh yeah.
So it's finally coming to pass.
Finally.
So I like the weird, funny segments. I'm glad that they are also getting their time as well.
Goldango.
So I'm hoping that gets equal time in the show.
Goldango, Gorgeous Truth.
That means it's on, y'all!
The Miz is on.
Yeah.
As a sidebar, while mentioning Tyler Breeze, I think it's forgot to mention it earlier, but kudos to him and Kevin Owens for what they did over the past weekend. I don't know if y'all saw, they put up a big GoFundMe kind of thing for the firefighters up in Canada. That have
wow.
Yeah, and it's really cool because they're doing a thing where anyone that donates will get, like, anyone that matches their $100 donation gets a personal video message from them, but anyone that puts any amount into their campaign can get followed by both of them on Twitter. So
Round of applause for that.
they've raised quite a bit of money for a good cause. I know it's not relevant totally to what we're talking about here, but
No, it's great. Look, you don't have to talk to me about charity. I mean, I love when people who have a social media following and have a presence will do good things with it, and kudos to them for that.
Kudos, yeah. And
Let's see. To close out everything before we go to the New Day interview, Charlotte and Natty, another storyline that I really like how it's progressing. It's going strong. Paige in one of those matches, almost like Ryback and Kalisto did at the pre-show. Like, hey, you want to put us in the pre-show? We're going to put on a great match. Paige was amazing and actually had a roll-up win because Shane O'Mac got rid of Ric Flair because he interfered. And so
you're trying to put a bear in a cage. You can't do that.
No.
I love Flair getting all like lowered down and like he's going to take them all on. That was awesome.
I loved Natty during it. She was hilarious. Like the way
she stood up for Byron.
Yeah.
Yes.
You stood up for Byron last week. She stood up for Byron this week.
It was about time that someone did that.
Yeah.
And JBL got credibility. So mad during like at one point on Raw. I remember too.
He's always getting mad.
Wow. That was JBL is just. I love listening to that man talk.
He's a good man.
Dale, these stories are fun, man. Really fun.
Yeah, that segment in particular, really, two different things. I agree. That was probably Natty's best on the mic moments. I don't know if she came out with like certain talking points or if she was just really on her game, but it felt really natural, and she was just like well poised during the whole thing. I thought it was a really strong moment for her just sitting there, which is awesome. And it also really made me miss Paige. I was like, nice to have her back on Raw and in a match where she was, I mean, the match itself was moving well even before the interference with Ric Flair and Shane McMahon situation. I thought it was a pretty stellar match.
Very much so. And of course, last but not least, during a Becky Lynch backstage interview, we found out that
playtime is over.
Dana Brooke, y'all, showing up.
Johnny's favorite.
No, look, I already said months ago, Dana Brooke won me over with how she did in NXT. And, you know, Emma was doing great on her own, but now with Dana Brooke, I mean, that's some muscle right there that could even get her to the next level.
Emma's amazing. Yeah. This can only help.
Absolutely.
Can only help.
Little pat on the head, Dale?
Who doesn't love a good pat on the head?
I mean, it's a positive reinforcement.
You know,
I think this is good news for Emma as much as it's good news for Dana. I mean, obviously getting pulled up, but I think the two of them work so well together, and she is a great, not side piece. That's not what I want to say.
That's not
but
what
like
side chick.
Side arm? No. She's great on the side of Emma.
Side saddle. Side salad?
She's a great side saddle, yeah. Or is it like, side salad? Is it side salad? I'll think of it, guys.
Go ahead, Dale. Keep going. We'll wait.
Side of coleslaw.
I got nothing else.
Okay, good. No, good for Dana Brooke for getting called up. And like I said, it's just the evolution of Emma once again. She keeps stepping it up, and it's good to see. And, of course, well, if we're going to do a New Day interview. Oh, yeah, them and the Vaudevillains. It's amazing. Vaudevillains they're doing more now on the main roster than what they were doing in NXT.
Vaudevillains are great, man. They just got the heel thing down perfectly.
They're doing well. Bygone era.
No more talking into microphones for those guys, though.
Yeah.
Get a megaphone.
Ooh.
And then, if WWE puts a little microphone in there, no one knows about it. But yeah, drop all things.
As awful as the Enzo Amore situation was, I will say that it has helped them kind of get over in the heel category because people were legitimately pissed at them. So, just on the receiving end out that Monday after the pay-per-view, they were able to really capitalize on it. And I honestly, I think that's what's made them easier to hate also.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's kind of like the Miz situation. The same thing with AJ, where he was doing that interview and then he ended up getting his teeth knocked out. That just these real life moments, and they capitalize on it, and it becomes compelling television.
Meanwhile, New Day still those tag team champions, and I love the fact that they're
260 days.
Yeah, and it's still a fun title run, and I think them and the Vaudevillains. Obviously, it's very, very new, but I think it could build to something fun, and it looks like it'll lead to something in Extreme Rules. And this, the new era they're quoting it's really fun. There's a lot of good stuff right now. And speaking of good stuff, us and the New Day.
Is it Pizza Hut? Are we segueing to Pizza Hut?
No, we're not. They took care of that with Up, Up, Down, Down. We are going to play our interview. You could watch it on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, I should say. We had a good time at WrestleMania Radio Row, just goofing off with the New Day, and now was the right time to let you listen to it and have a good time. And with that said, here's us and the New Day. We'll be back.
Let's get a clap, too. Oh, No, don't get the clap.
No, it's not.
Don't get the clap.
That was the fun thing we were going to do.
That is not what you
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Duke.
You don't want to get the clap.
Anyone think of their own? No? Okay.
Crying in baseball.
Are we going? Yeah. We're here with the New Day. Give it up. Give it up.
Give it up. Yeah. Give it up. Give what up?
Give
Give
it
it to me.
Give it up.
Give it to me now.
Give it up.
Give it to me. Stuff.
All right, so
Give
gentlemen,
it to us.
Here's the thing, gentlemen. Look, it's been a long day. We've interviewed a lot of people.
It's only like 11:30.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Not even.
We're just kind of exhausted.
Good morning.
Can you guys interview us?
No, nobody wants to. No, I don't think anyone wants to hear what you guys
I'll do it.
Yeah. Can we just appreciate?
I'll interview Dale. I do want to ask Dale. Dale, what inspired this hair?
Life.
Oh.
That's a good answer.
Deep.
I gotta get that green.
So deep.
Oh, got to get that green. That paper, that cheese. So cheese.
Mainly
So next,
cheese.
but next when you go cheese, will you go yellow, orange?
I'm more of I'm like a
Sharp
monster
cheddar.
cheese, really.
Okay.
I'm not really, so that's hard to do.
But you can't. I think you can pull it off though.
Monster cheese?
Yeah. And then you've got like the side hawk thing, so it's like it was going up, and then you're like, nah.
It got tired.
Yeah.
It's been up since 3 in the morning.
And then if you get dandruff, it's like Parmesan.
Get it? Okay.
Cheesy.
Johnny, I got a question for you.
Yep, sir.
Johnny, question.
Sir.
Most people would say your life has been a tad disappointing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What do you say to the detractors that say you've wasted the last, 45 years of your life?
47. Well, when it comes down to it, when it comes to life, I'm Kofi, if I may. They say when the chips are down, you just got to grab guacamole and you just got to dip. And that's what you got to do. And right now I'm dipping, man. I'm dipping. And this year it's going to turn around, man. It's going to.
But you're dipping, so like you're leaving?
It's going to turn around.
That was unsatisfying.
Dipping as in leaving, or dipping as in like?
This earth?
Kicked out.
Yeah.
No, look.
Like dip, baby, dip.
I'm trying to figure it all out. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you're having a rough time.
No, I'm happy to be here. I like your titles.
I mean, that's cool. I mean,
that's nice.
Yeah, right. That is nice. I mean, but there are. It's like, what have you done with your particular life?
Well, I won the Cub Scouts Pinewood Derby in 1989.
That's really difficult, actually.
Yeah, right?
But 89, how old were you?
I was 6.
Okay, so you're Kofi's range.
He was born in 83.
You're Kofi's range.
He's kidding. I was 9. I was a little bit older.
6'9"?
I was 9.
Right. So he's even more in Kofi's range.
Yeah. Were you a Pinewood Derby champion?
He's ranged.
No, in fact, he's ranged.
I wasn't BSing with the
Dale, how old are you?
I was doing real. 33.
33. Okay, so you're in Kofi's range too.
He is too. It's just you're the youngest one.
No, I
For a few
just
more
hit 30. Kof, by the end of the year, you'll be 35.
Guys,
You're in a different bracket.
Can you tell them that once it's 30 and up, that's it? That's it.
What do you keep saying that's
30,
it? But what do you mean that's what's
You'll
it?
find out in a couple of months.
I agree.
You'll understand.
But you're
how old are you?
more than 35.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in my prime right now. It's not a bad thing. He's scared of getting old. But it's already happened. Now we're in the same demographic.
What's your biggest fear about turning over 30?
I mean, I'm not afraid of anything, but it's just, my 20s are gone, man. It's
gone.
I'm kind of like you.
They gone.
Why are you smiling like that? Why are you smiling?
Why do you think someone's pleasure in that?
But why are you evil laughing?
you just like
the
me
natural aging process of a human being. Why are you doing thinner?
Older.
Oh, yeah.
Your brother's soul is mine. Your 20s will be next. Yeah, Johnny, we're getting the wrap-up sign.
Yeah, I know.
Which I think means your life has been a waste. You should wrap it all up and I don't know, maybe.
Could Budios at least help him? Is it too late
That's
for
a good
Budios
start
for Johnny?
It's a good start.
Definitely buy a shirt. You should definitely.
You need a change.
Maybe
You
buy
need
a
a
few.
change.
Budios
I've
are
been
back
trying to
right
add
now.
some dietary fiber into my diet, so I think
It's
Budios.
a fiber because you're not regular, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not regular in many ways. Yeah.
Get excited for 30.
This has been very. This combo's been very depressing for me.
Life changing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Bye, Johnny.
Hey, last thing. So, up, down, YouTube channel. We play video games. We play hella games. We play video games on a 40-yard wide screen at AT&T Stadium. Trying to hit that 500, what? 40? I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it's 40 yards. It's huge. It's 40. It's enormous. I think it is
That's what I
40
did while you were sleeping.
Yeah. Someone said 40 feet earlier.
No, it's 40 feet. It's 40 yards.
40 yards.
Jeez! Yeah, you missed.
Wow!
You missed.
Everything is bigger in Texas.
Huge.
Oh, it's real.
enormous.
So it's lit.
That's me.
So it's lit. So anyway, trying to hit 500,000 subscribers. Please help a brother out. Come on, we play games with my friends. And then we do like weird unboxings and stuff. And then we get news. How about Square Enix dropping all the Final Fantasy information? Yeah. In September? What?
You said AJ Styles on that too, didn't you?
Huh?
You said AJ Styles on that.
I did. Well, oh, no. When is this going out? That's a surprise.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Man, wrap it up, bro.
Oh, spoiler.
Wrap.
We got a spoiler over here.
Wrap it up.
What are you doing?
I'm stretching my groin because I pulled it like 2 weeks ago. What?
This has been chaotic.
I don't know if this has been informative or enjoyable for anyone.
Yeah. But it happened.
Yeah. You can come back. Wait, are we?
No, Johnny.
We really have to stop?
You
We
good.
do?
Just
Okay.
kidding.
All right.
When I leave, I leave.
Strong.
Yeah, that was us in the New Day with WrestleMania Radio Row. Of course, always unpredictable.
Yeah, chaos, mayhem,
just nonstop.
destruction.
Yeah, all over the place.
Probably the most informative interview that we've ever had. I would say.
And speaking
Or
of life
of the
coaches,
day.
Big E, I think, is my new life coach.
Wrestling is life.
He gave me some good advice.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll use it.
Oh yeah.
For your sad life.
For my Oh, damn, that's a bummer. All right, what a hell of a show we had. Let's all just put ourselves over and we'll get out of here for this week. We are at Wrestling Buds on Twitter. We are Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. Dale Rutledge, go.
Hey, I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me making some delish recipes for your belly on youtube.com/dishingonmovies.
Scotty Narves.
You can follow me on Twitter at Curtain Jerks, and you can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud, and also youtube.com/OnYourMarkShow. I got word. There's new stuff coming from Marquee Extreme. And
speaking of unpredictable,
Skeeter Skyflyer from WrestleCon 2016 with some big names.
Guaranteed to be
big
funny.
names.
Chuck Rice.
You can find me on Twitter at CRice17. You can find me on Instagram at Chuck Rice.
Boom. At Jay Quasto, some big stuff coming up. Let's see, this weekend I'm in Tacoma, Washington. I'm at the Tacoma Comedy Club Thursday to Saturday with my good friend Rachel Feinstein. She's headlining. Make sure you watch her Comedy Central special. She is amazing. May 26th, big charity show at the Comedy Store with the Regular Hero Foundation. All the proceeds go to children and their families that we have met at Children's Hospital who all need some financial help. It's going to be an amazing show. We haven't announced the lineup yet. We're still working on it. Trust me, it's going to be a great lineup. So if you're in LA, Thursday, May 26th, please hit me up on social media. And also June 15th, going back home to Pennsylvania, of course, headlining the Arts Quest in Bethlehem. If you're anywhere on the East Coast, make sure you hit me up for there. Otherwise, this has been a hell of a show, guys. We can't thank you enough. And enjoy yourselves, chase your dreams, and we'll see you next week, y'all.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.